Hi, welcome. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. Thank you for joining me today. And today is a goodie, as we say. So today's topic is you are not a bother, which is also known as being a fuss over. So thanks for joining me. As I said, Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. I would love to know if you are live, if you are here watching a replay, and where you are in the world. I love seeing where you are in the world. So thank you for joining me. You are not a bother. This is one that has come about because I'm finding more and more people are saying, oh, I feel they're doing too much for me, or I don't want to be a pain, or any of those crazy scenarios that come into our mind. So when we think about this, what does you are not a bother come up in your mind about? So this can actually cause conflict with yourself, but also for others when they offer to do something and you say no to them. You know those ones where they just offer something, and it's the same for you when you offer something for someone else. So this is what it's about. It's about what does it look like for you that you being a bother for someone, because in reality people don't offer unless they have a desire to. People don't offer help unless they have a desire to. And I do know I did say to somebody yesterday, can I help you with anything? And I really want you to say no, because I was clearly feeling like there was a bit of obligation going on, and yes, I want to help you, but I actually don't want to because there's so much going on that I just don't know if I can take this in. So people don't offer unless they actually have a desire to. So when I think about that, there was one time recently with my partner, and they offered a glass of water at the dinner table, and I was like, no, I don't need a glass of water, thank you very much, because she had a plate and she had a glass herself, and to me it was just too much of a hassle. So I went and got myself a glass of water and sat down, and then I got into trouble. Now, for me, I didn't realize it was actually such a significant thing, but it was like, well, why did you get that glass of water? Now, this may sound, big, or it may sound small, but for me, it was like, oh, I just, I didn't because you had your hands full. It was, I didn't want to be a fuss, didn't want to be a bother. Those little things. Well, it actually offended the other person, and I hadn't realized that. And for me, I thought I was doing good or doing okay by saying no, because it was the easiest, but in reality, it actually took the other person a little bit of offense. So when you think about that, there's a scenario of our energy, what we put out, what we do, and how we can upset others. So if you can think about this and just go, there's this word called obligation. And obligation is a crap thing to be part of. So if you're doing things because of obligation, stop right now, because it's not going to help somebody. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help the outcome or anything, because I'm a firm believer in what we put out energy-wise is what we get back. So if you're doing something for someone because you have to, you're better not to do it, because they will feel your energy. You will feel your energy. You're going to have, well, I'm just saying loosely, PTSD. You're going to have those emotions around that. So just make sure that your obligation is not obligation. You're doing things for obligation. So obligation can come from, and you can build up disgruntledness, frustration, anger, because you're doing something for somebody because you're obligated to. There's a word I work on, is called fair exchange. And when we think about fair exchange, I think about I do something for you, you do something for me. And that's fair exchange, and it feels right. It's a transaction of energy, of not obligation. It's a transaction of energy. It's a transaction of love. Oh, I love doing this for you, and you've done that for me. Now, there's a fine line of obligation in there, but if you're finding I've done 5 things for you today and you've done 1, what's going to happen to you? Your energy is going to get very disgruntled. You're going to get frustrated, and that word obligation comes in, and then you're going to put your hands on your hips and you're going to say, I'm not doing that for you anymore, and you're going to get really, really, really annoyed. You know the one. So if you're counting how many times you're doing something for someone and they're doing back for you, That's not a fair exchange. A fair exchange is you give because it feels right, you receive because it feels right. So watch that fair exchange. The other thing is, don't take offense if they don't want your help. And this is a real firm one, because myself, I love my own space. I've been single for a long time. I've been very independent. And when someone offers something, I go, no, I can do it, because I can do it, because it's easier for me in my mind. I'm so used to that. But if I turn someone down, it's not to be offended. There's many reasons why I turn people down. But I love my own space. So when recently I was sick and I just literally couldn't get myself off the couch, and my partner was away, and she offered to come home and look after me. And I was like, no, seriously. She was like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? And I was like, no, seriously, because I just wanted to sit in my own space and wallow in my own pity or whatever and just get myself through. I knew that if it was really bad, I could call upon someone who was closer, because she was out of town, who could actually come to me and get me to hospital if I needed to. So I knew there was that little thing going on. But I really just wanted to sit in my own space, and that's okay. That is okay for me to sit in my own space and you to sit in your own space. So if someone turns you down, don't take offense to it. There's a reason for it. But just be aware that you are not a bother. Just be aware of that. Recently, well, actually it wasn't recently, everything's recently. My daughter was in hospital, and one of the things is she was in hospital up in the North Island. I was down in the South Island. And in fact, just if anyone's watching who knows my daughter, it was a while ago. It was a few years ago. And I was flying to Australia a couple of days later, and she's like, no, Mum, you just stay where you are, and I'll see you when you come back from Australia. And I was like, no way. So I flew to Auckland to be with her for a couple of days before I flew out to Australia. And when I got to the bottom of it, she didn't want to be a bother. She didn't want to interrupt with what I was doing. Now, for me, it was really important to be there for my daughter, although we had contingency plans in place, and as it was, my mother flew up earlier before I could get there. So what it is I still suspect she didn't want to be a fuss off. She didn't want to be a bother for that time. And you've got to be careful with this, because you can offend those other people, and especially mums. We do get a little bit offended. But upon talking it out, it actually wasn't around that. It was because she just wanted her own space, and she just wanted to hear what it was. Now, last time I was in the hospital with my daughter, we didn't have a great experience. There was clearly certain things going on, and if you ever ask her the story, me unplugging things to plug my phone in, me using the sanitizer, which wasn't sanitizer, it was lube, me putting the Mandarin rubbish in the wrong area in there that stunk out the whole A&E. There's definitely scenarios, so I understand why she said, no, Mum, you stay where you are. It's a lot safer because I know what you do when you come into hospital. So I understand that. So just be aware of your stuff and their stuff and the energy that's going on around. If you feel like giving, give. If you honestly feel like giving, give. If you feel like doing something, do it. Nobody can tell you not to do it, or no one can, well, they can tell you to do it or not to do it, but it's up to you if you want to do it or not. It's entirely up to you. So other people have an opinion, and I get that. Other people have an opinion, but it's up to you what sits right for you. So if someone is down and you feel they're distant, ask them what you can do for them. If someone's down and you feel that they're not connecting, or there's something going on energetically, you're going, well, why am I thinking about that person? Ask them what you can do for them, because often they just need a hug. Often they just need a phone call, a text, or anything. You can drop flowers around. You don't have to drop flowers around. Any of that stuff, you can just drop flowers and go. Sometimes you can just feel that energy of something, or they just want to sit in their own space. Or you can message them and say, hey, this is a great movie I watched the other night. This might help you think about things or whatever's going on in their world. So when someone passes away, we often cook meals for them, or we do things for those people. What do we do? What do we do when someone passes away? So what I'm saying is, you don't have to wait till there's a death. If you want to do something for someone, do something. Cook a meal, drop it off. You don't have to stay, just drop it off. These are things that are significant to some people. Tell them, put it in the freezer, whatever, give it away, whatever. I just felt like I needed to do something for you. So whatever you feel like doing, do it. And take the gift and what it's been given to you. Take the gift of what it's been given to you. Take the advice that they've given and the energy they've given it. Doesn't mean you have to listen to them and take it all on board, but just take that gift of what they've given, whether it's advice, the gift, energy, whatever it is, just take it. You can take 20% of that and throw away 80% of what advice they're giving you. That's entirely up to you. Just take it because they've given from the heart. And most important, I think I've given you some important tips. Most important is be grateful someone cares enough for you to assist. Be grateful someone wants to do something for you, or does something for you, or talks to you or something. Be grateful, because especially in this world right now, there's so much discombobulation of what's going on with energy and people. So be grateful that people reach out or don't reach out. So that's me over and out. That's me on talking about I don't want to be a bother. So just remember, you are not a bother. If you have any questions or anything that you don't understand from today, give me a holler. Thank you for joining Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. I will see you next week. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching. Bye.